Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. There was a Facebook scam of a massage and dinner and it led to um, an assault, and the suspect wound up being unalive in a dramatic cop standoff. And you know, before I get into this story, I always say that we as females have to be very careful about what we do, our decisions, our choices, our actions. And I will never blame, a victim. I will never shame them or anything like that when they are a true victim. And in this case, there appeared to be a true victim. And so I pray that she will get the help that she needs through the victim assistance program or whatever type of program that it is in the state that she resides in, or the county or city, that she can recover from this. But I also want to say that we have to make choices that do not put us at risk. Now, this particular story came out on the U.S. Sun. And what happened is there was a post on Facebook where this particular person, this woman, victim, was tagged in it. And it was other women that were tagged in it as well. And they had said in the scam they were giving away a free dinner and massage. So the lady, she was one of the first ones to partake or try to participate in this particular scam, and she went to a house. Now, I understand that there's a lot of home businesses, and some of the homes are converted, you know, to like kind of like kitchens, or to be able to run their business out of their home. Some of them give massages out of their home with legitimate businesses. In this case, it was a scam. So let me get into this story. So a woman was you know, doing a shocking social media scam, which ended in a dramatic police standoff when the suspect was, he wind up unalive. I will say it like that. Now, the female, her name is, it says Antoinette Rogers' horrific ordeal began after she was tagged in a Facebook post stating that she and 5 other women won a complimentary dinner and free massage. And I stated her name because it's actually in this article, which is made public. So, because sometimes people feel that certain things shouldn't be shared, but this is this is an article. It is written, and you might come across it. I will put it definitely, you will be able to find it, uh, you know, um, under the U.S. Sun, but anyway, and you can type in probably Facebook scam, massage and dinner, or Facebook scam, and it may come up. But anyway, she responded, and she shared her horrific story of how a man R'd her following a social media scam, uh, Fox 13. And the incident might have been connected to a dramatic police standoff that resulted in a suspect found dead inside a home. And it shows in this picture, if that's the home, it doesn't appear to be a bad looking home. Now, she scheduled the reservation for Tuesday, July 5th, which was right after, July 4th, the holiday. But Roger said she felt something was immediately off when she arrived at the Tennessee home. So this was obvious, it was in Tennessee, is what she's saying. Um, he came in, started to do the massage. He started at the top, putting the oil on. But in my mind, I'm thinking, this don't feel like no blank massage, she told Fox 13. This man can't know how to get the joints and points. Now, she claimed the man groped her private area, making her put an immediate end to the massage. So once he did that, she said, no way, Jose, I get, and she ended it. And she says, I'm not scared of nothing. Now, this is, but I was scared when I was in that house, she said. And as she was getting dressed to leave, Roger said the man threw her down and R'd her. She said, I get the towel. I'm wiping the front of me off. He's behind me. At that point, he grabbed the towel, both sides of it. He pushed me down on the massage table and he AR'd me. After the attack, Rogers immediately submitted a R kit to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office and shared her haunting story on social media. So you may be able to find this story on social media. She shared it on social media. And she's saying, in my mind, all I'm thinking is this man has made me an appointment. He has made 5 more ladies the same appointment, she said. Y'all need to do something before it's too late. Officers arrived at the home on Monday, July 11th to serve an arrest warrant when gunshots rang out, sparking a barricade situation. About 20 members of the sheriff's office and negotiators surrounded the home in a 4-hour standoff that ended when the person was found unalive inside of the home. Rogers reportedly told the name of the man who attacked her to the outlet. It reportedly matches the name of a man that was charged with R and lived at the house where the standoff took place. However, law enforcement has not revealed the name of the suspect found dead inside the home. Rogers says she was tagged in a post revealing that she won a complimentary dinner and free massage. And they're showing this where it says some of the winners of the giveaway are, and the rest will be announced later. Now, this is on a Facebook post. So she's warning others who were tagged in the post of what happened to her. Now, and like I said, I'm not here to, put any victims down, real victims. If there is a real victim, you can always contact, the assault hotline, assault hotline, which is at the end of my video, but I will give it anyway. 81800-656-4673. It is the National Sexual Assault Hotline. But what I'm going to say about this particular situation, there is a lot of scams out there, and there's a lot of them that happen on Facebook. There's a lot of things that, because of the scams, a lot of people don't even participate in real, sweepstakes anymore. Also, when there was a class action lawsuit against Facebook and Instagram because of some type of violation of even Illinois residents, and now it's in California where you can participate. I don't recall the exact details, but it was something to do with Facebook tagging people in stuff. And I know some people that were tagged that shouldn't have been, and so they did receive a settlement because they had to fill out that claim form. And so, so we know, and some people didn't do it because they thought it was a scam. And there were some of the comments that I read about that said that, and they said, well, no, it was for real. It wasn't a scam. And if you didn't fill out the claim form 2 years ago, you did not get any compensation for that. So we do know, and that wasn't a scam, but there are, because of so many scams, people are leery of putting their information out there. And so, and we know that there's been a lot of Facebook, assaults and, that have led to people not being alive anymore because of these Facebook shenanigans, scams, violence. It's a lot going on in this world, and it's the people in the world that's doing it. It's not the world itself, but the people in the world. Many people are participating in the things that they should not be participating in. A lot of people have lost a sense of humanity, and it's really sad. But I want to say this to say this. I'm sorry that it happened to the woman, that happened to her, because that could happen to many people that don't protect themselves in a manner, or like they said, she said she's not afraid of nothing until that situation came up on her. And I understand that, people are not like everybody else, and I hear that a lot. They're not like you, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Do we have to start making excuses when people don't use common sense? Do we have to start being attacked because we tend to learn from mistakes, or we just are more aware of our surroundings and what's going on. And because we read, we hear, we see what goes on, so we make better choices, that don't lead to put ourselves at risk. I'm not saying that we will never be at risk, because when we get up each day and walk out our door, get in our car, we are at risk for anything to happen. But what I am saying is we do have to protect ourselves and our livelihood at all costs. And participating in a Facebook sweepstake, I don't know. I would have to been looked into that a little more to see what this person was all about. I also, once I would have, if I had have done that, I'm not saying me, I'm going to say me, because I can't speak for other people. I'm kind of leery of going to somebody else's house, especially someone I don't know. And it doesn't say she knew this person, and it doesn't sound like she actually knew this person. And to go to someone's house and to go inside their home, that's a little leery for me. And I would have gotten there, saw the address, and said, this is a house. Or even did my research before taking off and saying, this is a home. I'm not going to somebody's house. I'm out of there. I'm not going to participate in that. And I wouldn't have entertained it any longer if that was something that I thought that was legit. And then I looked up the address, because obviously she had the address because she drove there. And she even went inside the home. And how many other women had drove there too if she hadn't went to the police right away and make sure she had a rape kit done, the R kit done, and went to the police right away and filed a report. She did the right thing and filed, having the kit done and filing a police report. Absolutely. She did the right thing. And I'm glad that she did. And that's what should happen in a lot of cases that don't. And then people come back 10, 15, 20, even 5 years later, 10, 15, 20 years later, wanting to file charges against, their alleged perpetrator. But she did the right thing. And I'm hoping that she can get compensation, because, if he owned that home or he had homeowner's insurance, she should be able to file a claim under the homeowner's insurance. And I could be wrong, but I'm just putting that out there hypothetically, because it happened at the house that he resided in. So that may help her. And then she may need therapy, who knows, counseling, and to get over and heal from the trauma. But again, I go back to, or however, I won't say but however, I go back to going to someone's home and you've never met them, you've never been there before. It's risky. And I'm going to say that. Moving forward, young women or women in general, going to people's home that you've never been to and going inside of home, expecting to get something and get something else. It is very risky. Very, very risky. And this man giving out, giving out a massage and dinner, but he forcefully took what he wanted. And really, he started the massage, and they never got to the dinner. And he's the only one there. There was no people there that were like assistants or, somebody there to prevent. You didn't see anyone else at this home to help prepare the meal for you. And why would it be just you and that person? If you ask me, if it was a sweepstake like that, it shouldn't have been something private or personal to the extent where you're the only one showing up and making only your reservation. There should be, if it's going to give away something, how come all the other women weren't there to participate in that dinner, itself, and then, the massage, there should have been employees there, right, that will be helping to give those massages. But then this personal, massage and dinner at a home. And see, my suspicions are, like I said, I don't go to people's home like that. I'm just a funny type of person like that. I'm not gonna say funny type of person, but when I say that, I'm sure other people or other women can read through what I say when I say a funny type of person. I'm not gonna just show up at a home. And I'm gonna say this. I can fix my own dinner at home. I can go out and buy me a dinner. And if I want a massage, I know how to go get one. I'm just not trying to feel going to someone's house. There's something that was put on Facebook and even Instagram or anywhere else, and going to somebody's house. That's just not serious to me. There's a lot of places you can get meals from, free meals or even cheap meals. And I'm not saying that like I said, I'm not here to mock anyone, but I'm going to speak on this because we as women, women in general, if you're not making good choices, you have got to learn to make better choices. A massage and a dinner is not that serious. I mean, some people might say, well, yeah, I was hungry and I needed a free meal. You know what? These free meals can lead to stuff that you do not ever want to have to experience because it can cost you a lifetime of trauma. And that's what I'm saying. When you go through stuff like this, it's a lifetime of trauma. You learn to deal with it. You learn to function, but it never goes away once things like this have happened to you. And so we do need to make better choices and decisions if you're not doing that as women. Getting caught up in something like this can lead to some far more worse than what happened to her, which I'm not downplaying that. But the suspect wind up unalive, and he probably knew he was in the wrong, and he didn't want to face jail time, so he did a standoff, and he wind up being unalive, which is really sad because to me it's a coward way to go out if you are the actual perpetrator, and of this situation, this scam, and then inviting other women over. That's really, really shisty, and it's just even bad because now you are wanting to participate with other women at different times, and I guess you wanted to see how gullible or vulnerable women can be on Facebook or any social media outlet by, offering them, you know, offering them a dinner and a massage. And and I'm going to share this because I was at a party, and it was a few years back, maybe 4 years ago. I was at this party, and I was at a party, and there was a person there, another female, and we were talking, chatting it up and everything. And she said that when she gets invited to a dinner date, she goes, and if she doesn't like the person that asked her out on that date, she tells him she has to go to the restroom, and then she doesn't come back. She ghosts them, which I believe I've shared this story before. However, she was talking about, and my point I'm making is she was saying that it's a free dinner, and they're the ones inviting her, so she takes them, all these free dinners. And so myself and her sister, she happened to be listening. Well, I was there, but her sister happened to be listening, and she spoke up, and it was a couple of other females, like we were talking. It was about 3 or 4 of us, and then her sister heard it, and she stepped over to where we were standing, a couple of steps over, and she said, "You should stop doing that. She said, "You could buy your own dinner. Why would you be that desperate, to get a free dinner from someone?" And, and she said, "Well, because they're free, and I'm not going to turn down a free dinner." So my point is you are that desperate to get a free dinner that you're not going to turn down a free dinner. And it's like this situation almost. They were not turning down, "Oh, a free dinner and a massage. Oh, yeah, I'm in there." And then look what it led to. And that's why I'm saying that sometimes we have to be very cognizant and conscious of our choices, because it's not that serious. Having a free dinner and a massage is not that serious. I mean, I don't know. Unless you have not ever had that and you feel like that would be your opportunity, and could it be that you were thinking it could lead to something else, or were you thinking that maybe after the fact y'all get to know each other a little better, and then your choice is to do whatever, which is your choice to do whatever. Well, nobody's taking those freedoms away. But we still, once again, have to, as women, make better choices, because most women are not stronger than a man. I don't care how skinny that man may be. Most women are not stronger than a man to overpower them. Not only that, women can get, impregnated through situations like this. And with the Roe versus Wade overturnment, a lot of states do not have, and I'm looking for the right word, don't have plans or whatnot in place for things like this. one of the politicians, I can't think of his name, he was really against it and said he didn't really, it didn't, oh, it was it was, where's the little girl? Was it Ohio? And she had to travel to Indiana. He didn't even care that this 10-year-old was assaulted and had to travel to Indiana. 10 years old. And they did arrest him. I want you all to know that they did arrest him. They said they arrested this suspect that did it. And I'm glad they arrested him. And I don't think he has any papers. So I hope they don't release him. They need to keep him in jail, because if they release him and deport him, he's just going to probably come back across the border. So he needs to stay in jail and be prosecuted for what he did. A 10-year-old, he actually did that to a 10-year-old, awed her, and her family had to take her out of state. And they didn't care in the state. That politician talked about it, and he needs to be held accountable too for his insensitive, lack of compassion, words, because this is a 10-year-old, and regardless, a 10-year-old, she's going to live her life a lot longer probably than someone else that might have happened to in their adult age of dealing with this trauma. And I pray that she gets the help that she needs throughout her life. But however, as I was saying, getting back to this particular, story article, is that as women, we have been placed in a special position. And with that special position that God has placed us in, when it comes to who we are and what our bodies can do, we have really got to make some good decisions, be cognizant of our decisions, be aware of our surroundings, and choices of what we will participate in, what we want, and what we're willing to give up to get something else. And I think to some people it may be, well, they've never had that, maybe they can't afford that. Who are you to judge? I'm not here to judge anyone, but I'm here to try to bring a level of awareness to enlighten people, especially women, because this is what can happen, and we just have to be so cognizant of where we're at. I mean, like, I think about when I go out and I decide, okay, I'm not going to drive my car, I'm going to take the Metrolink, or I'm going to take the bus, because I can do those things. I'm in a position to do those things. But I always be careful. I always watch out. And the thing is, I always have on proper running shoes. As most of you know, that I was a runner for many years, and I still run on and off, but I do more power walking now. But I still run, and I'm always ready to take off. I'm gonna be fighting back, but if I can run fast to get away from my perpetrator, if it came up on me, I would do so. And it's funny because I had to run for the bus back in May a few times, and it was kind of funny running because it was like the people, when I got to the bus, it was mainly a lot of men on the bus that day. It was funny. And they were like, even the drivers, like, you could just sit down and then come back up and pay your fare when you get ready to get off. Because I was running, man. And I started running before the bus got there. It was crazy. And I knew it. And so I wind up taking my shades and my hat off, and I'm like running for this bus. And I'm telling you, the people were like, when I got on, they was like, man, you could run. And I never thought of who's watching. I just knew I didn't want to miss that bus that day. And it was hot outside. But anyway, nevertheless, I always try to put on the right shoes if I'm out traveling like that. Not have on no heels or no flip-flops, because you can't flip-flop nowhere. You're being flip-flop on the ground trying to get away if necessary. So it's unfortunate. I know everybody may not think like me, but it's unfortunate that you have to think like that in certain situations, and you're going to travel, and you're not normally traveling by car or your own transportation, And with these gas prices, yeah, I take a bus and a train. I don't have a problem with that. It saves me a headache from being in traffic. Saves me, I let somebody else do the driving, and it saves me from having to spend a lot of money on gas that I could be saving for other things I want to do with my money, managing my money better. But getting back to what I was saying, that again, we got to be cognizant of the choices, because something like this, it is crazy to read this and to know that someone actually literally went to someone's house. And I'm telling you, I've been invited to people's houses, and I'd be like, I don't know you like that, you know, and I don't know you like that. It's as simple as that. I don't know you like that. And what would my reason be going to your house? And I always look at it too about, being, a believer and a woman of God. I don't want to put myself in a compromising position. And I say that to say this, because sometimes, even if you meet people, men in the church, and you become friends, but then they be like, oh, they like you, or they have an admiration for you. And they be like, oh, you could come to my house. You're always welcome. And they give you their address and all this phone number. But that's just not me to be. I'm not that type of woman. If I don't know you, and then not only that, I'm not, unless I'm going to a party and there's going to be other people there, I don't need to be at your house, because I'm not going to put myself in a compromising position. And I don't want them to be placed in a compromising position as well, because that's an uncomfortable position to put yourself in and to put them in. And then if you don't want to do something, then it's just uncomfortable. And I just don't think that's appropriate, because I remember I saw a video on YouTube one time about this lady, and she was upset because she went to the guy's house. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. And the guy was like, well, what did you think at 1 or 2 in the morning? And she didn't want to. So he didn't try to do, he said, well, what did you think coming here? So guess what? He told her she needed to leave. So he called her a Uber, and she was upset by that. You putting me out of your house because I don't want to do X, Y, and Z? And he was like, yeah. And I think he did the right thing, because he didn't want to be brought up on some crazy allegations. You know what I'm saying? Like a coerce or force, or, intimidating or threatening, charges that he, could be accused of in that situation. So when he realized that it wasn't going to go down, she didn't want to do it, she said she wasn't, he told her, okay, well, I'm calling you an Uber. And he called her an Uber, and she was upset by that. And I'm like, she should have been thankful that he called her an Uber, and he didn't make her find her own way home, or didn't make her be stranded outside walking home. So he did call her an Uber. He did something responsible. Now, not all men might have did that. They might just say, get out of my apartment. You know what I mean? Get out of my house. And then you stuck out there trying to figure out how you're going to get home. So he did make a responsible moral decision, and some people might not, but I'm not going to, judge somebody that wouldn't do it that way. But he made a moral decision to call her an Uber and put her in it and send her on her way, and she didn't like it. And then there was other women complaining about it. She don't have to do this with him. She does not. But he also don't have to allow her to stay at his apartment either, because that's his apartment. She doesn't live there. Her name is not on the lease, or his home, or where, I think it was an apartment though. So at the end of the day, you're right. She does not have to do those things. And in a perfect world, some people would believe that he didn't have to put her out because that was her right not to do it. So why would he put her out? Well, it was his right to put her out because he didn't want to be catching a case either. And I don't blame him. And that's where men have to hold themselves accountable and be cognizant of their decisions too, and not let, the lower below the belt lead, but let your above the belt, way up here where your neck is, where your head is attached to your neck, you let that lead. And you think, with a clear level head, and take emotions out of it. And people might say, well, that's hard to do at times, and it's easier said than done. Well, if you think about, I don't want to catch a case, I don't want to be accused of R or SA, I don't want to get myself caught up in that, then guess what? I'm going to think and count to 10 to bring myself, as a man, bring it back down, so that I don't get caught up like that. And then as far as the woman, you got to think about yourself too. Do I want to go through these changes? Do I want to get caught up like that? Do I want to stand here and argue and refuse to leave this person's house, and they may have to call the authorities on you? You know, just all type of stuff. It could lead to a lot of stuff. So you have to be careful going to people's houses, men houses or apartments. You just have to be careful with that. As women, I'm saying this, and even men, but I'm saying this to women at this point. Be careful and quit always thinking we have a right to not give it up, but to not lead. Well, you do have a right to not give it up, but you also understand that everybody is not going to look at the other part of what they were saying, because a lot of the women were saying, well, she had a right not to want to do it, and he put her out. He shouldn't have put her out because that was her right not to want to do it. Yeah, but that part about putting her out, he had a right to put her out. And if it was going to protect him and her from some crazy situations that could lead to him being in jail or catching a case, or her, being on the side of the road trying to get back home, he handled it correctly. And I think with that case, we got to give credit where credit is due. Some people are never going to be satisfied, and some people feel like they're entitled. And some of the women that were saying all of that about, well, he shouldn't have put her out because she had a right not to want to. Yeah, she does have that right, and I'm never taking that, because we as women have that right, and even men have that right. You see what I'm saying? To not want to participate like that in an intimate situation, or forced, or whatever the case. But yeah, we all have that right. But the part about, do you have a right to stay at somebody's house? No, you don't. If you're not a tenant there, you're not on the lease, you haven't been paying rent, you don't receive mail there, and there's different laws for different states, but you're not none of that, then they have a right to put you out. And they do have a right to put you out. They also have a right to call an Uber or cab or whatever they call, Lyft or whatever they do. They have a right to do that too. And then some men might have just said, no, get out. And then you don't have nowhere to go. You don't have no way to get home. And women, don't go anywhere without money. Always have you some car fare. You gotta have car fare, because if somebody puts you out and you need to get a ride and they're not paying for you to get back, have your own car fare to get back to where you're going. And even if you go on a dinner date, have money to pay for your own meal at least, or have a way to get back home. And it was another video about this guy woman, he paid her way on a trip, and supposedly she left and went off for a few hours, and then she said, I probably was doing what you said, with another guy. And then she wanted to go back in the room, and he told her no. And she was like, I'm going back anyway. And he was like, no, I changed the lock, I got a new key code, or whatever he was saying. And they was in the lobby and it was just ridiculous. And my thing is this, if you go somewhere on a trip and a man pay for it, the idea is for you to be with the guy that paid for your trip, and you all went together, or you flew in, and to meet each other there. If you don't have a separate room and you're out philandering around with someone else other than who paid for that trip, and you were supposed to spend it with that person, then that man had a right to say no. Because you know what, at the end of the day, he could still catch a case, because of you in the same room, and he's angry because you tripping because you philandering somewhere else. And people, I'm just saying that, you can't always try to use people, because that's going to come back to bite a lot of people for trying to use folks. And I'm saying this to be saying this because some women try to use men up. And you see it every day. And some men do it to women. And so people do these tit for tat. And it could lead to some devastation. It could lead to a tragedy. It can lead to something traumatic that you don't want to be part of. It can lead to prison time, being charged, catch a case, convicted, prison time, losing your livelihood. Just all types of things can happen. So it is best that if you go somewhere and and you're not married and you're just getting started and you don't really know that person, or you know them, but it's a friendship or a situationship or even a sexual ship, you have got to be prepared to pay for your way home, to pay for your own meal, you pay for your own room until it's time to fly back home, or whatever you need to do. Be prepared for that. Don't go and travel without any money. And if you don't have the finances to travel, just say, you know what, I turn this down. Now, if it's your husband or fiance, long-term thing, yeah, most people are not going to expect, you to get caught up in a situation where they're going to mistreat you, and that works both ways. But I'm talking about in situations like what I just talked about with this Facebook scam. How many women knew that man? Or, with traveling somewhere, going to that guy's apartment, and maybe you knew each other but didn't know each other that well, but you knew each other enough to go over there and probably smoke a joint, because that's what I think they were doing. And then, or, the trip where this man paid for the trip, and then she was down there somewhere else gone for hours. And then when he questioned her about where she was at and who she was, she said, I probably was doing that. But then she wanted to go to the same room that homeboy, and I just say homeboy, no disrespect to you if you ever come across this video, because I'm not mentioning the town or state or city, but she wanted to go back to that same room. And he was like, no, I don't know where you're going. He told her too. He was like, I don't know where you're going, And see, there, he could have, and then the video went off, but he could have even called the security to put her stuff out, let her get her stuff, and let her go find her other way. And then somebody said, well, he needs to make sure she get back home. Well, that might be the ideal thing to do, but he's not responsible for her as an adult. And that's another thing. We as women, as adults, we have to be responsible for ourselves. We really do. We have to be responsible for ourselves. And I hear this so much, is like this entitlement and women wanting men to be responsible for them. And, I think you as an adult have to be responsible for yourself. And if you have children, you need to be responsible for your children. Absolutely. But when it comes down to, and there's some moral integrity too. I mean, like, you wouldn't want to put a woman out or even a man out on a dark street with nowhere to go. There's no facilities in sight or stores. That would be crazy, crazy, crazy. But what I'm speaking of is just, where these entitlements come in at, but nobody has money but the man, and then things don't go right. You have got to have your own, you have to have your own money. When I say that, because you never know, if it doesn't go right, you got to be able to get back home, and you got to be able to protect you. And I'm sure you want to get back home as safe as possible, have traveling grace, and get back home. So you should not leave and go anywhere, especially with people you barely know or don't know at all. Because even if you knew that person, because I know things happen too where, oh, I knew them, they was my friend, and this happened. We hear those stories too, and we hear about friends getting involved with each other, and then regretting it later. We hear all of that. But all I'm saying is, in the context of this, is that just be careful about what you do, be cognizant, be alert, choose your activities wisely. I would say that. Choose your activities wisely. And always make sure you have the means to get back to your house, your destination. Don't go somewhere without money. And if you don't have money, think about, should I go and I'm broke? Because sometimes even friends you go with say they're going to help you, or you think they're going to help you when you get caught up, and they don't. Some of them are setting you up. And so this Facebook scam was definitely a setup. And the man he actually wind up being unalive. And so, which is a sad situation too. He lost his life. And, and so it saved some other women's life, 4 other women or 5 other women that had been awarded this scam, and it wasn't the type of dinner or massage that these women obviously thought they were going to get. And so the woman that it happened to, again, I'm sorry that happened to you. I pray that, you will protect yourself, and just be leery of, things like this going forward. And I pray that you will get the help you need. And I pray that the Victims Compensation Fund will help you, or you need to look into if this man had homeowners insurance, and to talk with them about it and see how they can help you, with that situation, because it did happen at that house that you were at. So with that being said, God bless you all. And don't forget, if you are facing something like this as a victim, there is the National hotline that you can contact. It is at the end of this video. Right here, 1-800-656-4673. And then leave your respectful comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and and the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. The opinion expressed on this channel is not necessarily the opinions of others or the channel host. So don't forget to check out my Instagram page, OitsSharine Jewelry, and again, you can, if you're interested in something, direct message me. I would greatly appreciate it. I do ship. It is a fee involved in shipping, but however, if you see something that you like, I'm more than willing to, reach out, respond back to you on that being said. And I'm going to, I definitely, yes, have to advertise my little small business. And I appreciate you all again tuning in. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And again, women, let's start to hold ourselves accountable, about the choices that we make. Let's do that. If you're not doing that, please start. And for young women, please take care of yourselves, as the older women are supposed to teach the younger women. And I hope that I did not say anything that would offend anyone. I hope that it was to enlighten people and to bring up a level of awareness, because I do care about other people and the younger women. And I care about what God has called me to do, to lead and to teach and to help other people. So with that being said, have a beautiful day.